Do we have to go ahead yet? What was that? Yes. Okay. All right. Sorry for the delay. We had some technical issues. It is now 6:04, and I'd like to open the meeting. Samantha, will you please take roll call?
Blackstock South, Chris Bissonette.
Here.
Bryce Canyon North, John Hike. Here. Cabrillo, Rainey Steffen. Cal Giesler, Elizabeth Garcia. Carriage Square, Vilma Contreras. Channel Islands, Tom McNally. Cypress, Noemi Corpus. East Village, Vice Chair Alexis Schmidt. 5 Points Northeast, Pat Brown. Fremont South, Kim Winch. Hobson Park East, Roger Poirier. Kamala Park, Robert Lucio. Here. Lemonwood, Larry Stein. Here. Orchard Park, Diana Velzy.
Here.
Oxnard Dunes, Lisa Hewitt. Here. Oxnard Shores, Walt Hagedom. Here. Pleasant Valley Estates, Rosanna Biggerstaff. Here. Redwood, Patrick Harlan. Rio Lindo, Sandy Diaz. Here. River Park, Paul Schneblin. Rose Park, Alfonso Arroyo. Here. Sea Air, Edward Castillo. Seaview Estates, Isaac Califf. Here. Sierra Linda, Sergio Garcia. South Bank, Deb Aravallo. Here. Southwind, Sophia Vega. Via Marina, Doug Tauber. Here. West Village, Michael Gleason. Wilson, Angela Whitecomb. Windsor North, Brian Landers. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Samantha. Okay. Will everybody take out the minutes? Please review them. If there's any changes, please make a motion to approve or change. We have a motion from Lisa to approve, seconded by Doug Tauber, and for all in favor to approve the minutes as written, please say aye. Aye. Anybody against? Okay, minutes approved, dated July 9th, 2025, as written. Thank you. Okay. Oh, public comments first. Oh, wait, you know what? We did, no? Okay, public comments. I think we missed Pledge Allegiance on the minutes, on the agenda here. Is it? Okay, so let's now stand for the Pledge Allegiance. She messed me up. She teased.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We had a slight change in our way we're writing our agendas, so I'm not used to it yet. So now, item C, public comments. At this time, a person may address the INCO on matters within the subject matter jurisdiction of INCO. The INCO cannot enter into detailed discussion or take any action on any items presented during public comments at this time. Such items may only be referred to the Executive Secretary for administrative action or scheduled on a subsequent agenda for discussion. Public comments on items on the agenda will be considered at the time of the consideration of the agenda item. The presiding officer shall limit public comments to 3 minutes. Do we have anybody for public comments? Okay.
South Bank neighborhood, Lindy Levin. So just a comment about H and Vineyard. Last month when I was here, I mentioned how dangerous the intersection is, lots of accidents. People just do not yield making a left. Well, now there was another accident, I believe yesterday I thought I saw, 2 people again sent to the hospital. So I did speak to Miguel, his last name is with a G, that works for the city. He's well aware and, I still think it needs to go to the mayor before somebody, heaven forbid, gets killed, So that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anybody else for public comments? If somebody has their hand up online, I can't see who it is.
Cynthia, please unmute and you have 3 minutes.
I didn't have anything, I'm sorry. I'll lower my hand, thank you.
Okay. Okay, is there anybody else? Okay, so let's move on to item D, business. Neighborhood bulky item drop-off days, that the Inco general membership receive a verbal presentation from Brian Yanez, Public Works Assistant Director, on neighborhood bulky item drop-off days, followed by question and answers. And I'd like to welcome all of you, Gloria, Rebecca, and I forgot.
Sean.
Sean, I knew it started with that, okay. And Sean, for this evening for coming. I appreciate it.
Hey, good evening. I'm Brian Yanez, Assistant Public Works Director. And then thank you, Dan, for introducing staff, Gloria, Rebecca, and Sean. A little update. Environmental Resources, our solid waste division, and early in July, our ER manager who reports to myself. I have 3 divisions in Public Works that I oversee. He submitted his resignation, and his last day with us was July 25th. That was Eric Zetz. So I just wanted to let you know if anybody neighborhood council chairs had any business with Mr. Zetz, you can reach out to me if you need assistance in regards to our refuse division, environmental resources. We all watched the video of July 9th, staff, including myself, and definitely addressed some of the concerns and issues that were raised. So after the meeting, we got together and I had to learn a little bit more of what's going on and what was being done at the events. So one of the things that have come up was the U-Haul. We don't accept U-Hauls. And so talking to staff pretty much for the last month about some of the stipulations we had on the event, we just said, U-Hauls are fine. Business trucks are, if you have your name on your business and you do pottery, that's fine. So those things are going to be adopted. Some of our flyers have no U-Hauls, but we'll make those changes for the events coming up in September. We have a lot of stuff already pre-printed, so we got to make those adjustments. We still are going to be looking at businesses that come through that are taking advantage of these neighborhood events, but that's kind of on a case-by-case basis as the events go on. We'll continue to allow residents to come multiple times. We'll allow other residents outside the neighborhood event to come as we have always. One thing we're going to be doing and bring back to you is a standard operating procedures, which I think Chris was mentioning at the last meeting. And when we've had some kind of guidelines and we meet with the chairs and we say, we're doing this, you're doing that, we're doing this, but it's kind of just been something that we've discussed, nothing really formalized as a standard operating procedure. So we'll be doing that and bringing that back to you. But in the meantime, if you guys can, all the neighborhood chairs that are out there, if there's things that we need to address or look at, because of course we don't know them all, we've heard what happened at the meeting, but if there are things addressed, please, if this is okay, Diane, is to have them submit to you, and maybe you can submit them to me, additional comments or concerns that we can look into. But we're drafting that standard operating procedures, like on roles and responsibilities, city roles, neighborhood chairs, roles, and the volunteers. So we hope to have that by your next meeting and be able to share that with you all. If it's not that next meeting, which is September already, which I think September 10th, we would do something in October. But we're going to make those adjustments, this coming weekend and following out. But we want to standardize kind of some of the processes that have been going on. So the events have been going well. Participants are showing up, the tonnage is there, and I think for me is the ultimate goal and staff is, we're trying to put a dent in our illegal dumping problem that we do have throughout our community. So that is a huge thing for us. We spend thousands of dollars picking up illegal dumps in alleys, parks, you name it, it shows up everywhere. So these events, along with our Del Norte drop-off events, we have 3 of those a year. We're hoping that we're making some kind of stance in the community about, we don't allow our illegal dumping in our community, and here's some outlets that you can get rid of your unwanted items from your homes. Mm-hmm. So I'm here, staff's here to answer any questions that you may have, and we will.
Okay, so I'll open it up to the floor for anybody who has any questions or comments, and then we can go.
Good evening. One of the items I have concern is the 4-yard dumpsters. I asked for a 4-yard dumpster 3 weeks ago. I was told I was placed 40th on the availability list. I called today and was told I was still 40th on the availability list. No movement in 3 weeks.
Samantha, this wouldn't go on.
So the concern I have here is the fact that we should be ordering more 4-yard dumpsters so that more people can have advantage to the 4-yard dumpsters. Seems to be a static amount and doesn't seem to be moving as far as availability goes. So I'd like to get that addressed because that concerns everybody with individual green waste, and that can be used instead of having had on these dumpster days. So I'd like to get that addressed some shape.
I can update Mr. Stein offline in regards to his situation.
Okay, all right. Yeah, because I don't think it relates to the neighborhood cleanups.
No, it's something else.
I didn't catch that. Okay. Thank you. Go ahead, Ellis.
Ellis Carter, South Bank. Just a question, because I'm hearing now how it's being coordinated. Will there be training for the volunteers the day of the bulk waste events? Or is that something that we won't have to worry about because all the work will still be done by the city workers?
So these events, all we need is 4 volunteers to man some of the stations that we have in the day of operations. But hopefully the standard operating procedures that will explain the roles and responsibilities of city versus the neighborhoods will be able to identify, and then that would allow you guys to assign some of those responsibilities accordingly with your volunteers. But training, I don't think we're going to have any training, but I think I know we already meet with the chairs prior to the event. So I think, again, those roles and responsibilities should be laid out pretty clearly on
Okay,
what is
well,
needed.
matter of fact, that was one of the problems. We never met with the city before we started. So if we meet with the chair, that'll be great.
Okay.
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay. And another question, will the volunteers be required to have 2-hour shifts or 3-hour shifts or 4-hour shifts?
No, we discussed that too. It's you guys could do whatever you want. 10 seconds, 30 seconds, do whatever you guys want, your volunteers.
I agree.
You guys go.
Thank you.
Yep.
We have 2 people online. I can't, who was first?
No, Amy, please unmute and thank you.
Okay. So my question is regarding the time frame. Like the last time we had volunteered with the bulky drop off, they closed like half an hour early, and we were told because the staff needs to go home. I just wanted to know if that's still how it's going to be, because the ad says a specific time and people were still lining up and they were sent away and they still have a lot of bulky stuff on their vehicles.
No, our apologies. We should go till 2 o'clock, the time that's stated on the flyers and the time we discussed with the chairs.
Okay, that's good. And also, are the residents or, are they required to unload their own stuff? Or how does that work? Because I know there was a question last time, who's gonna unload?
So we've had approximately 5 claims that people say we damaged their vehicle, scratched their car, broke their bumper. So just like at our MRF, which is 111 South Del Norte Boulevard, the participant loaded their vehicle, so we're gonna ask them to unload the vehicle. Once that's unloaded, we will handle the debris or material or the bulky item that's brought to the event and then put them in the proper bins that they belong.
Oh, okay, so they don't put it on the bin, it just like stays on the ground and the staff will put it in the bin.
Right.
I see.
We've had, like I said, approximately 4 or 5 claims through our clerk's office about damaging vehicles, trailers, etc.
I see. Because there was also an incident where the residents were asked to put the stuff inside the bin, and that was kind of difficult to do.
Noted.
Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
We have
Deb, please unmute and then you can speak. Deb, are you able to unmute?
Deborah, you have your hand up, you can unmute. Okay, why don't we move on and see if she can unmute a little bit. Is there somebody else too? I thought there was somebody else earlier. No? Okay, go ahead.
So Lindy Levin from South Bank Neighborhood. When you say that it's not prudent necessarily to meet with the neighborhoods before you have the event take place, it kind of is because usually it's a fun event.
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't? Maybe I am too short.
I'm sorry. No,
Short people got no reason.
earlier, I think maybe because I moved here, I didn't hear it.
No, it's okay. Oh, there's we go. At any rate, it is prudent to have a meeting with the neighborhood ahead of time because during our event, there was a lot of, it was just the atmosphere was very, it was like we were in trouble every second. And so we didn't quite know how things were going because we were told we were doing it incorrectly in the past. And it was a happy event. The neighbors actually looked forward to it. There's camaraderie there. This time it was very military. And there was a lot of finger pointing. If no, we don't do it this way, this is the way we do it. And we were kind of feeling belittled just a little bit. And it left for a little bit of irony. So the relationship became very poor between the people because volunteers were being sent home. It just wasn't a happy thing. It was like, it's like, oh no, we don't want to do it next year type of mentality because we don't want to go through the same event in the same process again. It should be like it was in the past, happy. It's a pleasant thing to do for the neighbors. It's a positive thing. We want them to participate.
Yeah, we can definitely we should be meeting with the chairs before.
Yes, but
Yeah,
it should
I
also
think-
be a happy event, not like the school teacher, the headmaster, type of thing.
Sounds good, happy.
Well, okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, we could do
Because
that.
if people listen to you, it's safer.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Deborah, you still have your hand up. If you can unmute, please try. Okay, all right. So do you guys have anything to say? No, I'm okay. Doug? Lisa? Okay, thank you for coming and letting us know these things. After the meeting that we had last month, I did hear something about no trailers either. Is that part of the thing as well? Are you allowing those back as well? Because I know a lot of neighbors who have their own, where they cart their bicycles to the beach and, or to the dunes or wherever they take them, and sometimes they fill up their trash in their,
Yeah, I'm considering the U-Haul trailer, so yes, the trailers would be allowed.
okay.
So,
Yeah, or private trailers, privately,
Sure.
okay, all right. So, but, you know, these are things that I usually say in quiet, because, you know, I don't, people get ideas, but we, you know, we have, I'll be straight here. You know, I know you said you had 5 claims for, damage. But my concern is if you're handing people, or you're putting it on the ground for your staff to pick up, I have a big concern about that from my background. I mean, if you think about it, aren't those claims a little bit bigger than maybe some of these smaller claims? Does the cost outweigh the change? I think that I said that wrong, but I think you know where I'm going. But is that something you should think about? You know, I don't have a problem having people put things on the ground, but I do have a problem, because I want our city to be healthy. I want our city staff to be healthy.
Well, we
So-
help them with unload. If you unload it from their truck, we'll call it a truck, right?
Okay,
We help them unload it. We're still gonna help them when it's on the ground.
help.
If
help
they
get-
loaded their vehicle, so they're gonna unload it, once they're unloaded, we'll get them to the right bins. So we're still assisting.
Oh, I'm not talking about our residents. I mean, our residents' health is just as important, but so is our city staff. And if we're having, based on what you said, and I may have misunderstood, you're having people put it on the ground so the staff can pick it up and put it in the truck. Is that right?
Yeah, we're just really don't wanna get into someo's vehicle, or we'll assist them.
And I
off the
get
back,
that.
yeah.
I get that. I get
Yeah.
that. I'm just more concerned about the bending and stooping lifting issue.
Okay.
Okay, so there's something to think about, you know, I don't have a problem with people having to lift out of their own car. I get why you're doing it, but the costs, you know, I don't know. Because I don't know if was this within a year's time of the 5 claims? Because you don't hear about that very often, or at least I didn't in the past.
Yeah, no.
What?
It's probably in the last year, to answer your question, Diana, maybe a year and a half. But what Samantha was saying, describe what the claims are. So like the claims are, you scratched my vehicle,
Yeah, and I get
you
that.
messed up my tailgate, the handle on the tailgate.
Yeah, and I
So-
get that, because I understand people, I know what you're saying. I get it. But somebody's back is more money. It's less than a scratch, usually, not always. But go ahead, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's all I had, Diana.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
So on a lighter note, last time I was there and I volunteered, I don't know, Walt was there with me, but my job was to direct traffic around the circle and at Oxnard Beach Park, Halakoi Park. It's literally like, that's the only way you can go. So it's basically like my time was really useless. They were just trying to find things, but maybe we need signs, like each neighborhood has 4 signs or something so you guys can direct traffic, because that was obviously something they needed to direct from the road to the trash areas. It was just something that you guys don't have that might be helpful.
It's also something that the neighborhoods can help with too. So, I mean, that's my personal opinion, but,
Well, we did.
I wrote down directional signs, Lisa. Yeah, got you.
I guess it's a little different. Signs are much more.
Yeah, we use when we have our Del Norte events, we use message boards and event this way and no turning this way, so I get what you're saying, yeah.
one thing I would like to add to my comments is, I just want you to know, I agree with the others who stood up, that this is a feel, no matter how hard you work or how hot a day it is and how tired you are at the end of the day, I always feel good with these events. I always do. It's a great outreach to our residents. It's a great outreach for the city to come in, to reach our residents. It's a good feel on all ends. And it does show people what you guys are doing for us. And I appreciate that. And I think it is a good, feel-good event. And so I don't want you guys to think that I'm just disgruntled with the work that you guys do, because I'm very happy with it. And Rebecca always, or as far as I know, calls all the chairs, and sometimes she meets with them, sometimes they just talk over the phone. I don't know, because I don't think everybody can have the time to meet, but I know she talks to everybody before the meeting, so, and she's really good about that, so, and I appreciate all her input and all your guys' hard work. And I think we have another person up there, Christopher. Yeah. Your microphone is off, I think.
I don't have anything to pass on. I just, what I talked about last month, and they're doing a great job, and I'm looking forward to the standard operating procedures. So that way we got guidance both for the city as well as the employees and volunteers. Thanks.
Thank you, Christopher. Sandy?
Yes, hi, I'm from Rio Lindo, and I'm wondering if we can get a report on the amount of items that were collected. I know last year I did get one, and I haven't received one yet. So
Okay.
it would be good if we can get that detailed report.
Yeah, we have those, so we can
Thank
get that too.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Is there anybody else? No? Well, thank you very much. Huh? We're going to try to get Deborah, I think. Oh, there we go.
Deborah, please unmute.
Do you know how to unmute? Is she on the phone or is she on the internet? Okay. All right, Deborah, we're sorry, but we'll give you a couple more minutes to try to figure it out. Oh, she's gone. Okay. All right. So, okay, so since Deborah can't seem to unmute herself, let's move on. Thank you guys very much for coming. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Okay, subject. Item 2, under new business D, vapor intrusion update, that the Inco General Membership receive an update on the vapor intrusion topic and impacting Via Marina and surrounding neighborhoods from Doug Tauber, Via Marina Neighborhood Council Chair, followed by Q&A. And for those of you who may be new, this is we're just getting an update from a prior meeting that we had this year. What was it, May or June?
That was earlier this year.
It was earlier this year, so if you want to get caught up on it, you can find it on the internet, and I was going to have the date.
It's on GeoTracker, as a matter of fact. I had my page all loaded up, and then it's a 600-page document.
Okay, all right.
I actually, hold on, it just loaded up here.
But you can watch our Inco meeting to get more understanding as to what's happening. But go ahead, Doug.
So, like I said, this has been an ongoing problem with, Isaac's neighborhood for like 30 years now. There was a, I'm sorry. There was a company, Pneumo Abex, they made aerospace products, and they had this cleaning solvent called trichloroethylene. And They had it on underground storage tanks, and it leaked into the groundwater. And what happens is this chemical goes into the groundwater, and then it permeates into the soil surrounding it. And then whenever there's a what they call a low pressure event, we get a high pressure change. What happens? The air gets sucked out of the ground, and it causes toxic plume. And oh, God, 20 years, when they closed down, I believe it was in 1979, the Water Quality District Board had a mandate for them to do site monitoring. So twice a year they go around and they take water samples from the aquifers. And I like to state that these aquifers are not used for drinking water. They're unusable because they're obviously contaminated. They test groundwater for what they call trichloroethylene and a bunch of other what they call volatile organic compounds. And then they check they have other wells, there's like 40 odd wells in that whole neighborhood. They test for soil vapor. And what happens is, whenever you get this pressure change, you'll get this plume of trichloroethylene. And there's what they call a screening level, what they call environmental screening level, and it comes out in the 16 parts per billion per cubic meter. Okay, once it hits that, that's what they call a positive hit. And the last few years, they've been getting positive hits in the neighborhood, just barely hitting the screening levels. Some are like 100 or 175, somewhere around 200. But there's one problemsome well that's right along 5th Street. Actually, there's two of them now. It became a concern back in 2021. The screening levels on these two wells, let's see, this is page 640 through 636. So it's gas probe 34. It's right on 5th Street, just slightly west of Patterson. And see it in February 2021, it registered around 140 parts per million. And then 6 months, at that was the 5-foot level. And then at the 15-foot level, it was 18,000. And then see where it is. And then in July, it went down to about 11,000. And then the following year in 2022, 13,000. And it stayed consistent. And then it went down in 2023 in September, down to 9,800. And then, of course, in April of 2024, it went down to 0. And the reason why it went down to 0 was not because they we're getting any readings. They were underwater because of the rains that we had. You remember when we had that deluge that came down? I believe it was in December of 2023 or January. I'm not sure. Somewhere around there, we had about 2 inches of rain in 1 hour. So the ground was saturated, and where they go down to that level, once it's underwater, they can't get readings. And so what happens, that water now, it starts to sink down into the aquifers, and then there's this mixing process that takes several months, and then as it comes in with the contaminants, it comes up, and we get higher concentrations of this TCE. So last September, they went up to about 80,000. And so now everybody's waiting to see what's happening for this next report that came out in February, which I've been waiting. They've been pushing back the release of the report. This was back in February. That report finally came out July 15th. And so now it's come out, and that well, gas probe 34 has now gone down to 74,000. However, the neighboring one, which is gas well 34 W stands for West, which is just I would say several yards away, is registered at 120,000. And these are kind of hair on fire. Now, I've been trying to find out what's going on with that well, because the other wells within the neighborhood are getting very minimal hits, but there's such a discrepancy. They're trying to find out what's going on. And when they looked at the way the aquifers go, the flow is from north to south, you should see, the readings come out, to be consistent. Well, what happens now is when they mapped out the wells, the water flow comes out and they show this contamination field. It just looks like a lobe, but then there's one that actually just makes a 90-degree turn, goes straight eastbound on 5th Street. So we kind of suspected, and so does the water board, that there's something to do with the sewer lines. I kind of brought this up with Michael Wolf, and he actually tested the water, but what the Jim Ryan over at the water board says that's good news that the water's not contaminated, but they think that the sewer line is being some kind of conduit. They think maybe they're cracking the line because this is vapor, and they really need to check for the vapors instead of actually testing the water content. The big fear right now is that that sewer line is shared by, it goes eastbound, and then at Patterson, the sewer line turns south, and that's where like several homes in the Seaview neighborhood along Dunkirk, I think there's about 8 homes that share that same sewer line. So I talked to Jim Ryan today, and he said this is, where they're expanding the investigation. They don't know what it is. They can't figure it out, but they think it's either a crack in the sewer line that comes from the soil that's getting in, that's coming around from the sewer pipe, but it's got everybody scratching their heads. And so I've talked to Isaac. We're working on, last September we had the water board address his neighborhood council, Isaac's neighborhood council over there for Seaview. And it was pretty informative, and I kind of did a rehash on it here a couple of months ago. I would like to have them, and I've talked to Jim Ryan today, and they're open to it, to having them address this body at a future date. It's going to take a few months for them to put it together. And I also have one of a friend of mine who happens to be a hydrochemist, and this is kind of right up his alley. And I've invited him to come here and ask. This is all technical stuff, and if you ever look at any of these reports that they print out on GeoTracker, they're 600 pages long, and as everybody said, you need a PhD, know how to read them. So we have our guy. And, we need to ask the pertinent questions because this thing's been going on for 30 years. And the big contention is that we need to go to indoor testing because what they do is they test the water. If the water's, really high, then we're going to go and start testing for soil. And the soil vapor has to be at a certain level and have to have so many readings before we can do indoor testing. And the reason why they're so reluctant is because there's other chemicals that people keep in their garages that may be picked up and, blamed, so they kind of stay away from that. But my understanding is there's more modern methods nowadays that are available that these companies that test for these polluters are not using. What they will use for indoor testing is this big canister. It's called a Sumic canister, and it has a vacuum in it, and they turn it on, and it slowly sucks in the air over a prescribed period of time. But what they do now is they have these more modern methods where they have this this equipment. It's set up, and they do a continuous monitoring for anywhere from 24 to 72 hours. measure over a pressure drop. And when they do that, they can actually weed out these, what they call outside sources. So that's what's going on. The other thing we want to do is try to get the water board to change their standards for the indoor testing. And this is going to happen at a state level, and we're kind of working on getting a meeting in with our Senator Monique Limon. And there's other neighborhoods and communities that have this kind of same problem. And I think if we can get together with, several of those and put the pressure at the state level to have them modernize their testing standards. But that's pretty much my update for now. It's something in the works right now, so.
Does anybody have any questions? Is that Chris's hand, or is that his mic? It's his mic. Does anybody have any questions or comments or anything? I think you said they are doing indoor testing at the school, though, right?
They've done it at schools, and they've determined that they're not getting any readings for trichloroethylene. They have got some from benzene, but that could be coming from cars. They don't know. The thing is, they don't test in concurrence with what the barometric pressure is. And to get an accurate reading of, these things will remain absolutely dormant until there's a pressure drop. And then, when the atmospheric pressure drops, air gets sucked out of the ground and you get this plume that comes up. And the levels can go up exponentially. And as you've seen, you got readings of, just 16 parts per billion, and then you got 120,000 parts per billion. There's a huge difference.
Yeah, you were saying too that, I don't remember everything you said, but something about the schools are considered commercial?
So here's the thing. So they have what they call environmental screening levels. For residential area, it's 16 parts per billion. For commercial properties, it's 100 parts per billion per cubic meter. The school is considered commercial because, people work there. But one thing I want to clarify, because I did kind of bring this up with Jim Ryan today, and he said, there also is a consideration because of school children being exposed to this stuff. They have what they call short-term exposure. And short-term exposure is a danger of women of childbearing ages, because you can be exposed to this for the long term over several years, several decades, and your cancer risk is X amount. When they go into what they call short-term exposure, that's when it applies to women with childbearing age, because if a woman in her first trimester starts breathing this stuff, there is a high likelihood of that baby or child having heart defects. So then they kind of put that cancer risk into the school with the students, because students, at that age, are getting, close to childbearing age. So he's pretty much told me that it kind of evens out when they, look at the metrics. So I just wanted to clear that up. It is, considered commercial property because, the employees work there, but because school children, like the metrics work out to be almost the same as residential. So I don't think we're too worried about that, so.
Is there anybody? Yeah, no? Okay, well, thank you very much, Doug. I appreciate it. All right, so let's move on. Neighborhood chair reports. Neighborhood chairs may individually report on items of interest or concern to their neighborhoods. The INCO cannot enter into a detailed discussion or take action on any item presented during these reports. Anybody for a report?
Hello, I'm Alexis from East Village, the vice chair. Yesterday we had a pretty successful national night out with definitely over 100 people in attendance. I'm not exactly sure how many though. And we're having an issue with some guy who's like banging on people's doors in the night, I guess. So our neighborhood watch and the beat officer of our neighborhood are working on that, and I'm gonna have to check in on that later and with Ronald. And then our next meeting will be August 27th, where Supervisor Kelly Long will be speaking and presenting to us. So that's our report, and I'm here on Ronald's behalf since he's the chair and he's out of town right now. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else for chair reports? Anybody online? No? You guys have any chair reports? Nope.
Mine was just, we had a semi-successful national night out. I didn't get a huge turnout, but I did cook 50 hot dogs, and I think I only came home with about 5 of them. So
Well, that's not so
that was not bad. The one thing I want to kind of bring up, because at our next meeting, because we're trying to get progress reports on. Can I see a show of hands out there? People waiting to get their Quimby funds, their park improvement projects done. Yeah. My understanding is from Steve Howlett that it's a slow process, and they've been trying to get an architect on contract, and I think that has happened, and now we're just waiting for them to implement their design plans, and I still don't have a timeline. I don't know how long this is going to take, that's all I got to say about that. But I would like to get at least a good idea is when we can expect to see our parks,
Right.
Our park improvement projects when they would start groundbreaking for them.
I do know Cabrillo is, they're waiting for their, they already went out for bids, and they are going to be awarding a contract soon. So I know Cabrillo's as well, waiting for theirs to get started.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Oh, that's easy. All right. So any executive board reports? I don't have any. Does anybody have any? Okay, all right. So let's move on to item G, executive report of the executive board. See, I'm not used to this new outline. So sorry. My apologies. Item F, report of the executive secretary. The executive secretary shall report on items of interest to the INCO occurring since the last meeting. The INCO cannot enter into detailed discussion or take action on any items presented during this report. Such items may only be referred to the Secretary of the Administrative Action or scheduled on a subsequent agenda for discussion. Go ahead, Samantha.
As most of you know, the City Council is on their summer recess. They will return on September 2nd. And I just want to say thank you to all of those neighborhoods who hosted a National Night Out event last night. I've heard from all the people who attended that they were very happy to attend. I know a lot of you hosted them for the first time, so thank you for hosting them. Hopefully they can just get bigger and better next year.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Samantha. Okay, executive board reports now. I jumped the ball earlier. So. The executive board may individually report on items of interest or concern. The INCO cannot enter into detailed discussions or take action on any item presented during these reports. I do not have any, and you guys already said you don't? Okay, so let's move on. Items for future consideration. Members may request that items be placed on future agenda for extended discussion. Does anybody have any future agenda items? Suggestions?
Good evening. One of the concerns I have is the future plans for the parade activities for the Tamale Festival and booth requirements. As stated last month, that we're going to try to get so many neighborhoods to get involved in this. So I'd like to have the opportunity to have a report next month, either on this, see how many neighborhoods actually are involved in getting involved in the Tamale Festival, because the considerations that unless we get so many members involved, so many neighborhoods involved in this, that they, income will not be involved in this activity. So the idea is to get neighborhoods involved in this activity, and if the neighbors don't have any interest in getting involved, then we won't get involved. So I'd like to have that discussed next month if that's possible. Thank you.
As a member of the committee, you guys did discuss, and you will be making phone calls to the, of course, I'm responding, but we will be discussing it. So, that especially at the executive board this next week. So, but you're right. We should be discussing it and letting everybody know, and we will. Any other suggestions for future agenda items? Nobody? Anybody? Anybody online? Anybody up here? No? Okay, let's move on. Without objection, I'd like to adjourn the meeting. With no hearing none, meeting's adjourned. Yeah, this is my little doohickey.
Thank you.
Hey, Larry, you were on the meeting. He knows what's happening. Of course, I should